Hello friends, today we will cover Weberian theory of social stratification. So let us start now. The work of German sociologist Max Weber represents one of the most important development in stratification theory since Karl Marx. Weber believed that social stratification results from a struggle for scarce resources in society. Although he saw this struggle as being primarily concerned with economic resources, it also involves struggle for power and prestige. Thus, for Weber, there are three axes to social stratification. First one is economic factor. That means he used the term market situation for that. Market situation based on economic criteria. Stratification in the form of class in society. Class, basically economic basis of stratification is termed as class. Like Marx, Weber sees class in economic term. He argues that class develops in market economy, in which the individuals compete for economic gain. Weber defined class as a group of individuals who share a similar position in a market economy and by virtue of that receive similar economic rewards. Thus, in Weber's terminology, a person's class situation is basically his market situation. Those who share a similar class situation also similar life chances. Their economic position will directly affect their chances of obtaining those things defined as desirable in their society. For example, access to higher education and quality housing. Like Marx, Weber argued that the major class division in between those who get high income rewards and those who do not. Those who have substantial property holding receive the highest economic rewards and enjoy superior life chances. However, Weber saw important differences in the market situation of the propertyless group in society. In particular, the various skills and services offered by different occupations have differing market values. For example, in capitalist society, managers, administrators, and professionals receive relatively high salaries because of the demand for their services. Weber distinguishes the following class groupings in capitalist society. First one is propertied upper class. Second is the propertyless white collar workers like doctor, engineers, lawyers. Third one is petty bourgeoisie, that means small businessmen. Fourth one is the manual working class. In his analysis of class, Weber disagreed with Marx on a number of important issues. Like first one is factors other than the ownership and non-ownership of property are significant in the formation of classes. Weber sees no evidence to support the idea of polarization of classes. Although he sees some decline in the number of petty bourgeoisie, the small property owners due to the competition from large companies, he argues that they enter white collar or skilled manual traders rather than being simply depressed into the ranks of unskilled manual workers. So there are multiple choices are available for petty bourgeoisie. Third, Weber rejects the view held by some Marxists of the inevitability of the proletarian revolution. He sees no reason on why those sharing a similar class situation should necessarily develop a common identity, recognize shared interest, and take collective action to further those interests. For example, Weber suggested that individual manual workers who are dissatisfied with their class situation may respond in a variety of ways. They may crumble, work to rule, sabotage industrial machinery, take strike action, or attempt to organize other members of their class in an effort to overthrow the capitalism. So there are multiplicity of choices available. Weber admitted that a common market situation might provide a basis for collective class action, but he was this only a possibility, but it was means simply a possibility. He saw this only as a possibility. Now, fourth one, Weber rejected the Marxist view that political power necessarily derives from economic power. He argued that class forms only one possible basis for power, and that the distribution of power in society is not necessarily linked to the distribution of class inequalities. There are many examples in India. Now, second category of stratification is status situation. While class forms on possible basis for group formation, Weber argued that there are other bases for stratification. One among is status situation. So according to Weber, status situation is also a form of stratification, social stratification. Whereas class refers to the unequal distribution of economic rewards, status refers to the unequal distribution of social honor. Occupations, ethnic and religious groups, and the most importantly lifestyle are accorded differing degree of prestige or esteem by the members of society. A status group is made up of individuals who are awarded a similar amount of social honor and therefore share the same status situation. Unlike classes, members of status groups are almost always aware of their common status situation. Weber argued that status groups reach their most developed form in the caste system of traditional Hindu society in India. Castes and subcastes were formed and distinguished largely in terms of social honor. Lifestyles were sharply differentiated and accorded varying degree of prestige. Weber's observation on status groups are important because they suggest that in certain situations, status rather than class provide the basis for the formation of social group. In addition, the presence of different status groups within a single class of the status groups which cut across class divisions can weaken class solidarity and reduce the potential for class consciousness. Third category is parties. Weber defined parties as groups that are especially concerned with influencing policies and making decisions in the interest of their membership. In Weber's words, parties are concerned with the acquisition of social power. Parties include a variety of associations, from the mass political parties of Western democracies to the whole range of pressures or interest groups, which include professional associations, trade unions, organizations such as Automobile Association, Greenpeace, etc. In Weber's word, parties may represent interests determined through the class situation or status situation. In most cases, they are partly class parties and partly status parties, but sometimes they are neither. Weber's views of parties suggest that relationship between political groups and the class and status group is far from clear cut. Just as status group can both divide classes and cut across class boundaries. So parties can divide and cut across both classes and status group. The interplay of class, status and party in the formation of social group is complex and variable and must be examined in particular society during particular time period. Marx attempted to reduce all forms of inequality to social class and argued that classes formed only significant social groups in society. Weber argues that the evidence provides a more complex and diversified picture of social stratification. Now let us see what Ralph Dahrendorf has said about the class. Dahrendorf conflict theory of stratification. Dahrendorf argued that what Marx said was true for 19th century capitalist society, but in a post-industrial capitalist society a number of changes has taken place. According to Dahrendorf, classes are no more divided into two groups, rather classes have been many bases. Now with thousands of occupations, it's now services, associations and group, the class situation have totally decomposed. So class situation has totally decomposed. According to Dahrendorf, those with authority exploit those without authority in the post-capitalist society. Classes are factions within authoritative structure and conflicts have become localized and institutionalized. So according to Dahrendorf, there is no scope for class struggle because classes are factions within the authoritative structure have become factions within the authoritative structure and conflicts have become localized and institutionalized. That means there have been mechanism to address the conflict and it has been localized. So there is no scope for class consciousness and class movement. So it's all about Max Weber's stratification theory. In the next lecture, we'll discuss the dimensions of social stratification. Okay, thank you very much.